What's good, fam? I got new smoke fresh off the tour stop, and it's wild enough to make even the loudest OVO diehard blink. There's a new clip where Drake jumps into that "they told me it would never happen for you" speech, and the way he was winding up, it sounded like he almost slid into saying Kendrick before the fan recording cuts off. That's the craziest part. It feels like he's edging toward the K word on stage, but the clip ends right when it gets spicy, and that's exactly why this matters tonight. This ain't a concert anymore. This is a therapy mic, a victim arc, and a desperate remix of that "I'm Not a Snake" bit we heard earlier in the tour. We're gonna break it down piece by piece, and I promise you, when we line it up with the OVO merch moves, the red button fantasies, and the crowd karaoke moments, you're gonna see how this whole show been shifting from music to monologue. Stick around because the next part has a twist that's even more bizarre than the speech itself. Let me set the stage without doing too much. This latest rant hits 3 beats he keeps milking. 1, the child actor angle. 2, the "I'm from Canada" hurdle, like there wasn't a whole Toronto wave he rode to the bank. 3, the "I didn't fit the gangster image," like he faced a win or die street test instead of a studio with an unlimited budget. And to be fair, the clip is partial. We didn't hear the whole speech start to finish, but the tone is polished, rehearsed, almost theatrical. It didn't feel like a real moment. It felt like cosplay self-pity. The crowd ain't there for a monologue, they there for songs. But dude is carving time out to restate why he's the underdog while headlining a mega tour with the biggest screens and the cleanest pyros. That's not a grind story, that's a brand story. And that brand is inching closer to "my pain is the product." If that sounds harsh, wait till we talk about the merch rollout that mirrors the script. Here's where it gets even funnier and sadder at the same time. The OVO ecosystem is pushing a narrative, and the fans who call themselves the Iceman are boosting it like it's lore. You've seen the talk. Red button this, Puppet Master that, Pinocchio references. He ain't pressed it yet, watch the reveal. To be clear, a lot of this lives on timelines and forums, and not all of it is confirmed, but it's loud enough to shape how people watch the show. Mix that with the legal whispers around "not like us," rumored filings, alleged paperwork. Just wait and see, y'all. And the result is an audience trained to expect a plot twist instead of a great performance. It's like he's building a church of grievance. And the wild part, the live shows are starting to back that energy with speeches instead of songs. If you think I'm reaching, the next set of clips tell on themselves. Look, everybody has off nights, but the pattern this tour been building ain't an accident. We seen the strange cancellations that left fans looking goofy in parking lots. We seen toilet paper flying and water bottles coming on stage from people who clearly wasn't feeling it. We seen the lyric slips and the moments where he just lets the crowd sing the hooks while he plays conductor like it's karaoke night. 1 time is human, 2 times is a blip. All of it in a 2-month window, that's brand decay. And keep it a buck, if this was another rapper known for meltdowns, the headlines would be flaming him into the dirt. But because it's the biggest pop rap act of the last decade, folks act like this is normal. Nah, this is L on top of L, proudly presented as performance art. And if you think I'm being too harsh, the timeline of these speeches goes back months, which tells me it ain't accidental, it's strategy. But what happens when the strategy sounds like the same script every night, trying to convince people you a victim while you the one with the megaphone? By the way, if you rock with content that cuts through the noise and you want the real in your feed, do me a favor and hit that sub, drop a like, and turn notice on. I'm cooking part 2 of this breakdown with the receipts and a wild contrast that's gonna have y'all rethinking the whole tour playbook. Don't miss that. Now back to it, because the next point is the one folks keep dodging. The origin story rewrite is nasty work. He stood there saying they said it would never happen. Let's be grown. Having a name, having a look, having industry connections. That's not a wall, that's a ramp. He worked hard, facts. He made hits, facts. But let's not pretend he clawed out a storage unit with no cosigns and no access. He was embraced by Young Money early. Lil Wayne put the jet fuel in the tank. Toronto did present barriers in 0, 9 sure, but he blew past that with major radio love and budgets. It's not hating to say the current sob story don't line up with the receipts. It's just the truth. And the strangest tale is how he keeps going back to identity talk instead of music talk. He's not saying I out-rapped the room tonight. He's saying y'all doubted me because I didn't look gangster. That's a distraction. That's moving the goalposts, and it leans into that Stranger Things fanboy image folks clown him for, because it feels like he wants the audience to view him as the brave kid in a TV show instead of a grown man who built an empire and still wants sympathy. The contradiction is loud, and it leads straight into that earlier "I'm Not a Snake" sermon that sounded like the prequel to this whole act. Let's talk that snake speech, because the timing was too perfect to ignore. When he hit that "I'm not a snake" note, It felt like inoculation, like he wanted to vaccinate the crowd against future receipts. Not proof, I'm saying how it reads. Then came the conspiracy era getting louder. The Iceman language, the puppet talk, the Pinocchio flips, the red button myth, like there's a master plan that's going to reverse the Kendrick situation in one move. Again, a lot of that is fan theory and internet narrative, not courtroom fact, but he knows it's out there. He hears it. And every time he steps on stage and holds another grievance monologue, he pours gas on it. It turns the tour into fan fiction night, lore over lyrics, copium over cadence. And it's sad because there was a cleaner route that would have actually gotten him even after catching the smoke he caught. But instead of putting his head down and dropping undeniable music, he's selling mystery boxes and inviting the crowd to just wait. Wait for what exactly? When the mic right there and the beat already knocking? Here's what makes it a bigger L. Those mid-show speeches aren't agile. They don't evolve. It's the same beats repeatedly with a different coat of paint. The child actor line, the Canada line, the outsider line, the snake denial, the hidden plan. It's like he's reading from a pamphlet. And the crowd, especially the ones deep in the OVO bubble, they reward it because they want the big reveal that makes them feel like they knew all along. But there's no reveal to fix a performance problem. The fix is the performance. When Kendrick pulls up, he thanks the fans, rips through the catalog, and pins the moment with a new record that shakes the block. When Tyler the Creator steps on stage, it's art direction plus bangers, tight pacing, no victim narrative. That's how you move in 2025 if you still want respect from hip-hop and not just algorithm charts. The contrast is right there, and it makes these speeches feel like an actor reading to the mirror, telling himself he's still the underdog while wearing headliner money like a cape. That's why folks calling it the Karen arc. It's constant explaining, constant "they did me wrong," constant talk to the manager energy just poured into a pop rap arena show. And the part that's coming next will show you how this arc leaked into the brand side in a way that is gonna age terribly if the music don't catch up. So here's where I'm gonna keep it player and say what he could have done if he wanted W's instead of stacking L's. He could have kept the show clean and music heavy. No monologue in the middle of the set, no pity paragraphs, no "they doubted me" soliloquy. Just bangers back to back, deep cuts for the day ones, and one new joint that actually snaps. That alone would have flipped the convo overnight. He also could have looked the Kendrick situation in the eye, taken the hit like a grown man, and answered with actual records, not darkroom speeches about red buttons and secret plans. One honest statement, get it out the way, then lock back in. That path was right there, and if he wanted to switch energy, he could have done what Tyler does every time. Thank the crowd, rock the catalog, let the art direction and the bars do the talking. When you do that, you don't need to sell folks on a mystery. The music sells itself. But that ain't even the wild part because the culture cost of this victim arc is getting ugly fast. I'm calling it what it is, the Karen-ification of the boy. Constant explaining, constant "y'all don't understand me," constant "manager please," all while you sitting at the top of the food chain. That's Karen behavior dressed in designer. And when you mix it with the Stranger Things super fan jokes that keep following him, it turns the stage into Comic-Con for grievances. The Green Goblin mask analogy fits too well. Put it on to play the villain victim for a night, then take it off in the green room? Nah, it feels like the mask merged with the face. And what happens when the biggest pop rap act leans into cosplay instead of cadence is simple. The room gets flooded with noise. The W's happening in hip hop get drowned out by discourse about a reveal that never shows. We lose momentum around the records that matter because the algorithm keeps chasing circus clips. And what's coming next proves how much the brand has already swallowed the art. Pay attention to how the OVO orbit been moving. The merch ain't random. The captions ain't random. The lore ain't random. Even if some of it is fan-made and some of it is just timelines trying to cook, it's all creating the same illusion. He's the wrong genius, the puppet master, the guy with the red button in his pocket waiting to scorch earth with one press. Meanwhile, the only button getting put at the show is the crowd vocal channel when he turns the mic to the audience for the hook. That's the disconnect. And whenever the "not like us" legal whispers start bubbling, the bass jumps straight to "just wait, y'all gonna see." Maybe, maybe not. I'm not claiming inside paperwork. I'm telling you how it looks. The longer he keeps feeding that hope, the more the bass gets conditioned to choose lore over performance. That ain't a win. That's long-term brand rot. And right after this, we got to talk about how uneven narratives like that end up aging creators in dog years. Look at stars who went heavy on myth instead of music. The ones who lasted still delivered undeniable albums in between the antics. The ones who faded became memes with catalog dust on them. He's at the fork. Keeping it honest, he's too talented to be in this lane. Even if you think he took a bad beating from Kendrick, it doesn't mean the music faucet broke. It means you got to outwork the moment. You build a better show. You craft a statement record. You stop playing peekaboo with conspiracies you can't control. The antidote to the narrative is a record that cuts through. That's always been the cheat code in rap, but that ain't what he choosing. Right now it reads like he needs the sympathy glow to keep sections of the bass engaged. And the next part is what hurts the most if you care about the culture the way I do. When the top act acts like a victim, it changes how casual fans think hip-hop moves. People start believing you can explain your way to respect. They think you can paper over shaky sets with sad boy quotes and branded slogans. They start wearing the uniform of grievance like it's a team jersey. That's how you get the Iceman energy, the Pinocchio references, the puppet talk, snowballing into identity. It's not music fandom anymore. It's cosplay allegiance. And I promise you, that's the opposite of where this thing started. Hip-hop gave folks voice, not victim PR. The heroes we grew up on weren't perfect, but they never begged the crowd to rewrite the past while the beat was still running. They owned their wins, ate their losses, and came back with sharper blades. If we reward the opposite, we're gonna get more of the opposite. And I know some of y'all feel me on that, because the next example is the exact contrast. Kendrick on stage is zero explanation, all execution. He'll give you gratitude, then he'll drop a record that takes the air out the room. Tyler will run such a tight show you forget he's performing. It just feels like a movie where every scene snaps. That's why their bases don't need conspiracies to stay interested. The art itself is the lore, and that's the lesson he could snatch today. If he wanted to turn this ship around, cut the speeches, kill the "they said I couldn't make it" fairy tale, stop telling folks you're not a snake, make records that make the accusation look silly, rap in a way that drowns out the whispers. If the business team wants to play with brand narratives, cool. But the stage should be sacred. If you keep turning it into a complaint desk, the crowd gonna treat it like customer service. And the next time a water bottle flies, don't be surprised. That's what happens when energy gets weird. I'm not saying this to hate. I'm saying it because I'm from a place where we got no interest in watching a grown man with everything lean on pity as a product. It don't sit right. Where I'm from, you hold that L, you go back to the gym, you come back stronger, and you let the work speak. Folks respect that, even your ops respect that. And I honestly think he could still do it. But first he got to shut down the echo chamber that keeps telling him the crowd wants monologues. They don't. They want a show. They want the catalog. They want something new that actually punches. They want to walk out the arena arguing about the best song of the night, not the weirdest fan theory. If he flips that switch, he can still write a new chapter. If he can't, then he locked into the Karen mask for good, and that mask looks heavy, my boy. Now let me end this on you, not him. Ask yourself what you want to reward. You here for rap or for role play? You want moments or you want myth? Because the second you stop clapping for apology monologues, people stop giving them. The second you start replaying the artists who deliver on stage without begging for sympathy, those artists rise. The power's always been with the listeners. If the biggest act in the building sees the room ain't buying the sob story no more, he either adjusts or gets left. That's real. And since I already know somebody in the comments gonna ask, yes, there's a Jay who just dropped something for like the lyric, the heads that's been giving me hope. I'm not saying who here because I want you to pull up next video and catch that breakdown fresh. It's a reminder that even in the circus, the culture's still stacking W's if you choose to notice. If you made it this far, you're a real one. Drop your thoughts below and keep it honest. Did the new rant change how you see the tour, or is it just more of the same script? You think he can shake the current arc and get back to the records, or is this the lane he chose? I'm reading everything. Hit subscribe, run that like up, and turn them notice on so you don't miss the next upload, because I'm pulling with timestamps, side-by-side performance clips, and the J breakdown that might reset how you looking at 2025 already. Stay tapped in, stay safe, and stop letting monologues gas you. Music first, always.